Hi friends, it's Deanna here today, and today we're working on the crossover sweater pattern. We're going to be working on the dress version. If you want to see the top version, how I sewed this one up, check out our other video. I will post the link below. Go check it out so you can make that version as well, because they are super cute and you're going to love it. So let's get to this dress. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my bodice. Here's my back bodice, and I'm going to put it face up on my board, and I am going to grab my front bodice, and as you can see, the front is cut into two, and we've got the side that goes straight down, that's the middle side, and then we've got the other side that has the sleeve part, as you can see. So you want to match those sides together, right sides together. So here's my sleeve, here's my shoulder, so we'll put in those shoulders together, shoulder seams, and then I'm going to do that on the other side as well. Make sure you put them on the right sides together. And then what I'm going to do is we want to use some clear elastic to give us some stability to the shoulders. So like, where is the end of my elastic? So like, we want to make sure that our shoulders are going to stay, especially like when you have sweater knit material, it can stretch out and pull on it if it's heavy. Put in a little bit of stability here with the clear elastic, helps that so much. So what I usually do is when I go to sew my fabric, I'm trying to think which way I sew it this way. I will leave like a an inch over here at the end, and I will add my clear elastic. I like to sew it straight to my fabric together when I'm sewing my fabric together. So I just go ahead and put it on here, but you can either go on and sew it on first, like zigzag stitch it on first to your fabric, baste it on, and then sew it together as you are sewing your two sides together, or you can just go straight to it. We do have a video on how to attach clear elastic, and I will also attach that link so you can go check it out. And then I leave this bottom edge still on there so I can control the elastic, and then I'll cut it when I'm done. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna sew these shoulders on, and we're gonna put that clear elastic right there, and the clear elastic is gonna get in the seam allowance. So let's go do that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna see where this clear elastic is. I'm gonna put it back there and tuck my fabric in there with my clear elastic in between, and I'm going to grab my clear elastic out on the back so it doesn't move out of the way as I'm trying to sew it. Now you're not pulling the clear elastic, you're not tightening it, you're just sewing it on to create its stability. So you're not pulling on it, you're just helping it, guiding it to stay in there. I'm going to put my foot down and we're going to start sewing. Whoops, I threaded my serger and I didn't move my little lever, so let's go. And now as I'm sewing, I'm gonna remove those clips, and my clear elastic is gonna be stuck in that seam allowance. Again, I'm not pulling my clear elastic, I'm just feeding it through. Once I come to the end, then I can clip off my clear elastic, and as you can see, my clear elastic is stuck in there in that seam allowance right there. And now I'm gonna go do the other side as well. Once our shoulders are on, we're gonna go ahead and turn it wrong side up, and we're gonna flip down that 1/2 inch seam allowance and steam all the way down the front, because we're gonna go ahead and fold down and top stitch that down like a hem. And you can use your sewing machine with a zigzag stitch or anything like that. I would do some sort of stretch stitch around the neckline so it doesn't pull and come off. I'm going to be using my cover stitch, so let's go ahead and do all the way down. All right, let me also mention, when you're sewing your neckline, when you're top stitching your neckline, if you have a knit that doesn't have very good recovery, something that's gonna stretch out, we also recommend adding the clear elastic to the neckline, and we would just put it right inside, right between that neckline. And then now we're gonna go ahead and sew our sleeves. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put this is my sleeve area, this is my shoulder area, and I'm gonna grab my sleeve and put it right on top first I find my half of my sleeve, and then I match that half where that quarter point is to my seam right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and go down one side and pin, and it's right sides together, and then down the other side, and we're gonna do that for both sides, for both sleeves. All right, now once those sleeves are on, this is gonna be so adorable. I am like so excited about it. You all have no idea, because the top is super, super cute. So I know the dress is gonna be adorable. Okay, so I'm gonna grab the bodice, and I'm going to, this is probably easier done on a surface where it's like straight and, or I mean like bigger surface, but alas, here I am. I'm gonna grab the front side. One of the sides is gonna come down, the right side. Let's make it come down to the front, and it's gonna come right here where that curves in, and we're gonna put that one side in here, and then we're gonna go over and match up. What am I doing? It's right sides together. Why am I doing it wrong sides together? Woo, I almost just put that seam on the outside. All right, so make sure you're matching these sides right here, the side seams, and then we're gonna make it come forward. Here's the one side. And the armpit seam right here, and all the way down the sleeve. I am super excited about this sleeve as well. It is so cute. Wait till you see it. You're going to love it. And then we're gonna bring this front part right here to this front edge. And then we're gonna grab the other side, and it's gonna come down and go around. And so you're gonna place that one on top of this one side. And put that seam all the way, here's the armpit seam, and go all the way down the sleeve. And then this side is coming over and latching on this side over here. Okay, so make sure that you match those raw edges. Now, if you want to, you can go back and like baste the sides on first and then sew it together, or you can go ahead and just go ahead and sew it together. It is up to you. I'm just gonna go in and sew it together, and just make sure when you're sewing it that your overlap catches all 3 layers on each side. So we're gonna sew all the way down the sleeve and the side, closing those side seams up. And while we're at it, we're also going to grab our cuffs, and we're going to prep them by folding them right sides together and matching those long raw edges to create a band, a continuous band. All right, so cuff time. Now, if you want to do your strap, I have my strap here as well, but let's do our cuffs first. We're gonna grab my sleeve, and I'm gonna mark where my half of my sleeve is, and then I'm gonna grab my cuff. I'm gonna fold it wrong sides together so it's right side out, and I'm gonna clip right here where my seam is, and then I'm gonna go out to the other side, the half point, and clip right here on the other side, and clip. And then I'm gonna tuck it in. Either you can tuck it inside, or you can turn your sleeve right side out and put it on the outside. Either way will work, but you have to make it right sides together, or match up that that seam to seam, and then the outer to outer, that half where we marked. And then we'll go over and sew it by stretching out, fitting those together and sewing all the way around. Let me do the same for the other cuff. All right, so now if you're making the strap, we're gonna prep our strap by folding it right sides together, I'm sorry, and sewing that raw edge to make it like a, whoop, my clips always go flying, to make it like a continuous strip right there. Okay, and then while I'm at it too, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my skirt and I'm going to go ahead and sew it together. See how the skirt has like this side that goes in? That's my waistline. So this is my bottom and that's my top. Make sure that when you're matching your skirts, you match your top with your top and then your bottom with your bottom. So you have to have that curve on both sides. That way you know that those are your sides. And we're gonna pin right here on that side seam on both sides, and we're gonna go ahead and sew those side seams together to prep our skirt. All right, so our top is basically done, and all we need to do now is, since if we're gonna do our strap, it's better if you try on your top once you're sewn it. You grab your strap, you turn your strap right side out and steam it. I will probably add my strap at the end because I'll be able to try on my dress and then figure out exactly where I want my strap and then pin it and then top stitch it on to wherever you want it to fit better on you and your body. So let me put that aside. I'm gonna grab my skirt and I measured my waist and I grabbed, I made a piece of clear elastic, 85% the width of my skirt, plus 1 inch. And I'm gonna mark that 1 inch for overlap. So here's my 1 inch. So that way I can overlap these two together. I'm just gonna clip them right now. And then I'm gonna quarter my elastic. So go from that pin to my back. And if you want, sometimes it makes it easier if you just can mark those quarters. I'm just gonna put like a little dot. That way if my pin falls off, I still know where my elastic quarters are. And I'm not like, oh no, where did they go? And mark. To one side and then go to the other side. Okay, and then we're gonna do the same thing to quarter our skirt. We already have those side seams, so that's our sides, and then go and match up our front and our back. And then what we're gonna do is you can either go ahead and place the elastic on the skirt and sew it on with a zigzag stitch. You know, that overlap, that inch overlap is there, so that way you can grab hold of it at the end and sew it onto your skirt in a zigzag stitch, or you can go ahead and wait and do the elastic in between the seam of the top and the skirt when you're sewing them together, just like we did on those shoulder seams. So I'm just gonna wait and do that, but it's up to you if you wanna do it now, because you're going to be stretching the elastic a tiny little bit to fit around the whole thing. The other one, when we put it on the sleeve, you didn't stretch it. This one you will, because it's gonna help bring your waist in a little tiny bit. So that's what that's for. Now the next step is, well, there's two steps now. You can go ahead and hem your skirt, 1/2 inch hem allowance. Again, for the skirts, if you wanna go ahead and do that while you're at it right now, you can steam that 1/2 inch up and sew your hem. And then for your bodice, I'm gonna go ahead and find my quarters. Whoops, that goes to the front. Make sure that you know which one is the front and which one's the back, because the 2 layers. And then we're gonna go from that seam to the front. Remember, there's 2 layers, so make sure you put those 2 layers together and find our half. I like to find my half now. That way, once I gather it together, I know where my half is, and then I won't be like, oh, you know, and it helps me get it all together nicely. And then go to the back and do the same thing and mark those quarters. And then I'm gonna go over to my sewing machine and use a long basting stitch to gather my waist, the width of my skirt. All right, now that we have that gathered and it is the width of our skirt, we can go ahead and grab our skirt, either fit our skirt over our bodice or fit our bodice over our skirt. But I don't know why I'm turning it right side out. We need it to be right sides together. So you're gonna grab the right side of the skirt to the right side of the bodice, and we're gonna match up those quarter seams. So side seams, let me get my pins. and then that front half mark that we made on our skirt, match those together, and then those side seams, and then that back. And then you want to make sure, let me make sure that was my back seam. I don't know why I can't, it doesn't seem like I did a very good job marking that one. I want to be able to see it. All right, put it together where that is. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put a few more clips so that they're nice and even. And we're gonna put our elastic in there as well, and that's gonna help us cinch it all together. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my elastic and also have that ready. So here's my back. So I'll start on my back. I have my, where's my inch? Here's my inch. My clips are my quarters, so I'll know that this will start right here in my half. Where's my half? This is my half right here. So I'm gonna place that quarter, that mark that I made for the inch right here. Or actually, let's start the other way around. That way, that has a little bit of give right here. We'll put this right here and start it right on there. That way when we come around, we'll overlap that ½ inch on the other side. So you know this is my quarter, so I'll have to stretch out my elastic to that first quarter to cinch it in a little bit as I'm sewing. Let's do that. While we're doing that too, I'm gonna grab these are my belt loops. I'm gonna grab my interfacing and place it on there. And put that interfacing on my belt loops. And I'm also, my iron is not hot, so that's why it's not steaming. I'm also gonna grab my belt, and because this is a thicker knit, I might not put interfacing on my belt. I don't think I need it. But if you're using a thinner knit, you may want to put that interfacing on your belt as well. Okay, I did not do that right. My iron was cold, so it just spit water everywhere. Let it get warm, and then we'll do that. For my sash, I'm going to go ahead and prep that as well, so we have that ready. Let me put this to the side a little bit. So if you're gonna put interfacing on this, you would put interfacing on the wrong side. Then we're gonna grab our sash and match our right sides at the short end to make it one long sash. And then we can fold it right sides together. We'll start at the edge, so up, so all the way around, leaving a gap somewhere in the middle where we can turn the thing out all the way around to turn it and then top stitch it. So we can do that. Let's go back to these. Let's hope that my iron is hot enough. Oh my goodness. I might have to get some different interfacing because it's like, now it's mad at me because I made it all wet. All right. Woo, I almost threw my iron. So it's on. Now we're gonna fold it halfway. We're gonna bring these into the half, and then we're gonna fold it half again to create my loops. The reason why we create one big loop instead of 5 little loops is because it's easier to sew when it's one straight shot than to sew little individual ones. But once we sew this together, then we're gonna cut them into individual loops. So I'm gonna go also sew this one, sew a straight top stitch down, over, and up, so that becomes one whole loop. Got my elastic in there, and I'm gonna put my needle down so that my elastic doesn't pull off when I go to pull it to my first quarter point. And here's my quarter point, so I'm going to match up right here and pull that elastic as I'm sewing it on. All right, so that was my first one. If I can remove it. Then here's my next quarter point. Find where that quarter point is right here. Match those up and sew. And keep going all the way around. And then right here at the end, here's my inch, and that's where my elastics are gonna overlap, and it's done. Yo, what in the world didn't you all tell me that I was not sewing them right sides together? I sewed them up one right side and one wrong side. So now I'm trying to sew them. I just cut them off and now I'm sewing them right sides together because they're supposed to be right sides together. All right, now we can continue to sew them together. Let's top stitch those loops. All right, so for our sash, we're gonna go ahead and turn it right side out. So that's what we'll do for our sash. And then on that spot that we left open, we'll be able to just top stitch that with our sewing machine. Make sure you poke out those edges. Let me tell you while I'm at it, because I know I get a lot of questions and I just want to answer before I forget. So the one I'm wearing right now is the crossover, the top version. Super cute, super adorable. Go find that video. And then the fabrics I'm using are, this is a ribbed sweater knit. It is got the brushed feel to it, so it's amazing. I am in love with it. It's so beautiful. And it also came from Olga's Closet, just as the one I'm wearing came from Olga's Closet as well. So yeah, go check them out. It is a beautiful fabric. So what I'm gonna do now, once I open this up, I'll steam it, and then I'll go over to my serger, my sewing machine, sorry, not my serger, and top stitch that gap close. Optionally, you can also top stitch the whole belt around if you want to give it like a top stitch look if that's what you're going for, and that will work just fine as well. So I'll do that later. Then also we'll try our top on and place it where you think it's best, where you think it's gonna look the best for you, like where you want it, and then just top stitch it closed. So we'll do that. Then now for our loops, we're gonna measure, the loops are gonna be 2.5 inches long. I can find my ruler, but I can't, so I'm just gonna use my measuring tape. And so we're gonna measure 2.5, and there's one. And then however many you wanna put on, if you just wanna put them, let's say you just wanna put them on the two sides, you can do that, or if you want to put them everywhere, you can do that too. Well, I still have the basting stitch on here, so I gotta remove that basting stitch eventually. But what I'm gonna do with these is I'm gonna fold them down 1/4 inch on both edges. Okay, fold them down 1/4 inch. I'm gonna grab my side right here, and I gotta use a pin for this to pin them onto my dress at the top and at the bottom, and then go over to my sewing machine and just top stitch it down on both sides. So we'll do that for both loops, or however many loops you want to do. If you want to do 2 on the sides, 1 on the back, or 2 on the back, wherever you want to put the loops, you can do that. So we'll attach those, and then this will get attached after I try it on, and that's it. We're done. We're done with our dress. I'll have to go over there and attach that, but that's it. I gotta put my strap if I want it. You don't really need the strap if you don't want it. It is up to you. I will probably, with both of these, put like a tack on right here, like with my sewing, not my sewing machine. I just probably hand stitch it closed right here so it doesn't flop open. But the way it lays, it doesn't really flop open. I just like it, you know, if I bend down so it doesn't open up on me. So you can do that, but it really is up to you. Can't wait to try this on. It looks amazing. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please let me know if you have any questions about anything that I did. Comment, like, share, subscribe if you haven't, so you can be entered for a giveaway that we do monthly. Comment, like, share so your friends can see it as well. And also come join us on Facebook and Instagram so you can see what everybody else is making and you can be inspired. And also so you can inspire others to make beautiful things. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!